We are currently live on Twitter. All right, welcome to Gamcast for Tuesday evening, folks. It's a little bit of a slow news day out there, and so I wanted to talk and do a short about January 6th. Been doing this for quite some time. Welcome to the Great American Mail podcast, the lawyer who breaks down the news of the day through the lens of history, the Constitution, and the law. Folks, a lot of people tell you that January 6th was about this. In fact, this is Morgan J. Freeman, who tweets this video every morning. 2 days ago, he got 1.1 million hits. He claims this is what January 6th was about. Take a look. Folks, January 6th had nothing to do about the violence. In fact, I'm going to prove to you in about 2 minutes or less, okay, that Donald Trump was the last person that wanted that. Last person. Why was he the last person that wanted that? Because of the 12th Amendment to the Constitution, right, that created the system where we voted for president and vice president, moved the inauguration date up to January 6th. In prior years, original Constitution, it was later. What happens is, in 1876, we had a big disputed election. And as a result of that, you'll know about the Grand Compromise. We ultimately ended up getting a Republican president. But after that, Congress passed an act called the Electoral Count Act of 1877. That act provided that on January 6th, you get together and you count the Electoral College votes. And it had a procedure. If you wanted to object to a state's votes, you had a procedure. What did the procedure provide in the Electoral Count Act of 1877? You had to have one senator and one congressman to sign on to it. If you could, then you could object to the Electoral College votes of that state. You had to go back into the House, and the Senate had to respectfully go back to their chambers and debate for a minimum of 2 hours. All right. Trump had a plan. Under this, he was going to challenge Biden's certification. Now, folks, I'm going to put a link in there. If you're on Twitter, go to my link tree. You can find it. You'll have to go to my Rumble page or my YouTube page. You'll see this longer form video. I go more 20, 25 minutes into it. I'll put the link in there if you want to. The article I wrote, I've written many articles about this. Again, you can find my Substack channel page on my link tree on Twitter. Here's an article I wrote, Proof that January 6th was not an insurrection. Folks, the basics of it are this. It was not unknown that Trump was going to challenge Biden's certification. Trump's plan, as you can see here, was known well before January 6th. Among other places, the Washington Post reported it on December 30th. The AP ran a piece on the 19th, okay? And the Wall Street Journal ran it on the 11th. They all knew it was coming. This is not a surprise to anybody, but they lie. And here's Rachel Maddow talking about how they're fake electors, and they had no idea. Here she is. This is approximately a year after it happened, December 22nd, 2021. And she acts like, oh my God, we had no idea about these quote unquote fake electors. Oh, come on, don't do this to me.
Did it privately, and I kid you not, they forged all the paperwork to make it seem like they were the real electors. Look, we have the paperwork.
They didn't forge any paperwork, folks. There's a plan. If you launch an objection and the objection is sustained, they're going to go, hey, where are your electors? Oh, we didn't have any. We didn't know the objections were going to be sustained. Well, then you don't get to do it. So they were just provisional in case the objections were sustained. And the last thing I'll leave you with, and why these lies about January 6th are so pernicious, it's not as though it hadn't happened before. The time before Trump started to do it, and you're going to want to hold on for what happened. But anyway, why the violence, Trump didn't want it. But let me show you one more time. Here's Jamie the Rascal Raskin, right, challenging Donald Trump. Take a listen. And you might notice the vice president presiding here is none other than Joe Biden.
What purpose is Member Wright?
I have an objection because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified.
Now, again, he raises an objection. He doesn't have a congressman. He doesn't have a senator. It's not a valid election. Joe Biden says it's out of order. Trump had 139 congresspeople signed on. He had 8 senators signed on. He had a plan ready to challenge Biden's certification. We were going to have 2 hours of debate minimum on 7 states. You know what shocked? You know what stopped it? They go in alphabetical order. When they got to Arizona, guess what? Within 30 seconds, violence. Pelosi stops the electoral count right then. By the time they reestablished order, it was all done. The last person that wanted violence, Donald Trump. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you do, I'll see you on the next one.